We've often been told that if you're consistent and disciplined, you get result, which is, I think we can all agree on that. Back in 2008, from a personal experience, I had basically, I think, 1,000 subscriber on my YouTube channel, and I watched a video by someone called Roberto Blake. Kind of, it's like almost like a motivational video, telling you that you have to be consistent and post every day, and then do that, and then that, and then I took that to heart, and I started just posting. Couldn't do it every day, but I was posting consistently. I was making videos, and the moment I had an idea, I would just post about it. The moment I had some sort of a flash of an idea, I would just immediately act on it. And it worked. I got a video, and then one video, and after that, now I have a catalog of close to 1,000 videos. But why am I telling you this? The output and the result doesn't really matter. It's just that that's what matters. The consistency part of it. Another example is I gained, this is a little bit personal, but I gained a lot of weight in the past year. And I got some comments that I did not like, and eventually I decided to kind of work on my health. And when I decided that, and only when I actually decided that, I started exercising every day. I couldn't do a single push-up, and then slowly worked my way up. And then I did that, and I started walking, and I lost over, at my heaviest, I was 20 pounds. Now I'm at 178. I lost a lot of weight. So, and the reason I'm telling you all that is the daily consistency of things. Consistency and discipline works. But what I didn't know is why does it work? Why is consistently quote unquote work? Right? What causes us to not be disciplined? That's a question that boggles my mind, because we know that it works. Well, then why don't we always do it? Because you see, there's always cases where I want to do something, and then I get either lazy or I find excuses, and this happens daily basis. There's like always a reason for not doing something. But then when you act upon it without listening to those excuses, you get results. And that is the piece that I was missing until I watched. I read, actually. Was it I read or watched? I read a quote by Naval. He said, "Inspiration is perishable. Act on it." Then it all makes sense. It even made more sense. It kind of enforces the idea that doing something immediately when you get the blossom of the flower or the fruit, immediately act on it, and you get the results. But still, so we know that, because if you don't act on it right there and then, it just disappears. It dies. It perishes. It is spoiled. But then why? And I kept asking the questions. Why? What is happening here? There is something deep. There is a first principle that we're missing. I'm missing. And I think I found it. And I think this is my favorite book of all time. I think if you ever want to read a book, this is the only book you need in life. Not a single other book. Everything else can be derived. Everything. You can find everything for yourself. I think I have it here. This guy. I don't know. Hopefully I'll do it in post. I really, this book deeply resonated with me. I never have been a big fan of books in general, because every time I read something, I see this seems like something I can discover for myself. Like all this, all the software engineering books I read, everything. I really just like, okay, whatever is this? I read this and I understand that either I read it before or I know about it, or I can derive it myself. everything in life, except this one, because this is deeply intricate to human psyche. Like, how do we work, and this idea of the mind and thoughts. I didn't even realize that I had this constant chatter of the thing that's called the mind and the thoughts. It is always running. And the reason discipline works and the reason consistency work is that there is this initial thing that gets triggered on you, and it's your heart, whatever you want to call it. That's your inner self. And then it quickly gets overwhelmed by the majesty of the mind and its thoughts, and it just get drawn. That's why inspiration becomes perishable. Inspiration comes from the heart. If you have an idea and acting of it quickly before the mind floods you with thoughts, you won. But if you start entertaining these thoughts, you will find excuses. So the reason inspiration is perishable is because the mind is, if you will, the bacteria or the flesh-eating, virus. That's the problem. The mind is really a clever thing, and you can never beat it at all. You cannot engage with it. You can let it do its thing and then understand that it's doing its own thing, and then just ignore it, and then just move on by doing your own thing. Because if you entertain it, you listen to it, and if you listen to it, you stop. And if you stop, then you get frustrated. The problem, if you think about results and, if I just do it right now, if you listen to me right now, it's like, what? The next time I do this, I'll just do it, and I'll immediately get the result. That doesn't work like that, because that also is another mind game. You see? Because the mind will say, yeah, you know what? You should just go ahead and do it, because if you do it this way, then you will get the result. And if you don't get the result, then this idea is wrong, and you'll find it by yourself. And that's just another trap that the mind just puts you back into itself. And it's clever. It will find all sorts of ways to find it. That's why discipline is so important, but at the same time, it's been this word has been polluted, right? Because it's been overused in media and motivational videos that, you have to be disciplined and you have to go on every day and walk up at this time of the hour and do this and that. And it becomes like something you have to follow. But that is not the case. It's not, discipline itself is not a goal, if that makes sense, right? It's kind of a part of the journey to get you somewhere, and the somewhere is whatever the heart desire, the original thing that you have, which is, I still don't know what that is, what that looks like. I'm trying to touch up on it, and then I'm on this journey to differentiate between my original self, and then these thoughts. And boy, it's really hard to find out, because sometimes thoughts come to you and you don't know these are even thoughts, right? You just drown into them, and then too late you're already drowned. but that is just, it's just interesting. So I don't know what my purpose of this video is, but I think I found one other truth, that is, there's always a voice inside us that gets immediately, the moment it utters something, it gets immediately flooded by thoughts, and it gets submerged, and we can't hear it anymore. And putting our hands and arms into the deep waters and pulling that voice out is, I think, the goal of all human beings, to listen to this original voice. That's us, basically. Fascinating stuff indeed.